Hey guys, welcome to video 2, talking about how to get your footage from your action camera to an actual video that you can upload to YouTube, Facebook, whatever. So the video 1, if you missed that, that's previous to that. I'll put a card up here so you guys can take a look at it. But what we're going to do today is we're going to use a free software platform called Hit Film Express. So here's the thing. I want you to understand that right now, this piece of software that I'm going to show you is probably the best one that I've found that's free, but it is by far and away not anywhere close to something you're going to pay for like Adobe Premiere Pro. That's what I edit with. You'll never catch me using a free program like this. One, because this is a pay for play, meaning all the really cool stuff you have to pay for. But just to get started and understand the aspects of using an NLE, a non-linear editing system, such as Adobe Premiere Pro, we're using this Hit Film Express, which is something that I've dug into, and I feel like that it's a decent software, especially for people to get started on. So let's dive into this. If you guys remember, I saved 3 or 4 videos onto a folder onto my hard drive, and we're going to copy those over here and learn how to edit those things today. So I'm going to actually add some new things to it. And the biggest thing that you have to understand here is that once you put a bunch of clips together on any kind of non-linear editing system, you have to do what's known as rendering it out. So it actually takes all those small clips and renders that into one seamless video that you can then upload to YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, whatever. And that's just going to give you an opportunity to, share this thing. Maybe you don't even share it. Maybe you just archive it on a hard drive somewhere, what have you. So what we're going to do, again, we're going to dive in here on my computer looking at this Hit Film Express. And again, guys, I'm going to show you the basics of this using this software because it's free. But all the stuff I'm going to teach you in this video actually can be ported over pretty much to any nonlinear editing system. Some of the shortcuts and stuff just may be different. So without further ado, let's dive into Hit Film Express here. So as you can see, when it opens up, you can see there's a lot of stuff here that's kind of looks kind of very like ad-y. There's like a lot of ads and stuff. All this stuff right here you can click on. There's a bunch of different things that you can look at. There's visual effects and things that you can buy and things. But in our case, we're just worried about the free side of things and learning how to edit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose New here at the top. And then right here, the template. This is the resolution that your video is shot at. I told you guys before that I gave you guys the, my recommendation is shooting video at 1080p, 60 frames a second. If you have the ability to shoot at 2.7K or even 4K, sure, it's really cool, and you can do some really cool zoom in effects and things. But if you're just now getting into it, guys, set your GoPros or your action cameras to record 1080p at 60 frames a second, and you will not be disappointed. So I'm going to choose here 1080p, full HD, 60 frames a second. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hit OK. We don't care about anything else. It's all set up for you. It's all set up how it should be. And when you hit OK, it's actually going to create this new project for you. Now, when you look at this thing, you're going to originally think of this thing and be like, wow, this is way over my head. There's too much stuff here. I'm going to quit. That's where a lot of you guys are probably at right now. However, I'm going to show you guys that it's not that hard to do. And again, everything that we do in this simple clip right here, you can actually do on a paid version of like Adobe Premiere Pro, which I think is like $10 a month. But again, this just gets your feet wet and all that stuff. So down here in the bottom left-hand side, this is the media window. Same exact thing for Adobe Premiere Pro. We do have different tabs here, effects, controls, history. There's actually a text over here and stuff, but we'll get into that later. What I want to do is go over here to media. This is where you're going to import your video clips. All the video clips that you want to bring in and edit need to be in here. You don't have to bring them in here all at once, but it's a good idea to have them saved in a location where you want. If you remember the last video, video 1, I put 3 videos within one folder so I can know where it's at. So in order to import these things, there's a button here that I can choose import. I could probably, I don't know for sure, sure enough, file. I could choose import, media. But my favorite thing to do, it actually allows it to happen here in Hit Film Express, but also in Premiere Pro, is just double left click in this area right here, and it will come up with the import option or the import window. And just so happens that I'm already on the video or the file that I've created, the folder, I'm sorry, that I created, called YouTube video. And in here are 3 clips that I've created. So if I want to select all 3 of these guys, there's something that a lot of people don't know about Windows that you can do. You can left click, hold, and drag and create what's known as a Marquee Selection around these. You could, let's just say that I want to select this one and this one. If I select one or the other, it automatically takes the selection away from that file. However, if I hold the control key, the CTRL key on the keyboard, and then left click on one, holding the control key down still, and left click on the other, you can see that it allows me to make a selection of more than one. Another thing you can do, you can click on one, hold the shift key down, select the last one that you want, and it'll select everything between there. So let's look at that in a different light. Let's go back here to my TikTok folder here that's got a bunch of stuff that I've uploaded to TikTok. Let's just say that I want to select from here to here. Again, I could marquee select them. I can left click to select one, hold shift, and then left click the last one, and it'll create a marquee selection around those things. Let's just say that I want all these, but not this one. If you guys remember the control key, if I hold control and then left click on this one, notice that it deselects that. So I can actually do that on the fly. So in this case, I'm going to go back here and I'm going to choose the 3 videos that I want to import. And again, I'm going to select those. I'm going to hit open. If you don't select them all at one time, you can select one, hit open, double click in this area right here, bring in the last one, and then the third one. But you can see where bringing them all in at the same time would save you some time. So right here now, this right here is known as a timeline. And I want you to notice there's a video track here and there's an audio track. One of the things here is that you can create new tracks. I've right-clicked in this area right here, insert track. In this case, I'm not going to do that, but I'll show you why you would want to do that in just a second. Anything that goes up the tracks here, so if I create another track here with a video track 2, anything that I put within this video track 2, it's actually going to play in front of this video, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about in just a second. So I'm actually going to delete this track, and I'm working on video track 1. So now I'm going to take my first video clip, I'm going to left click, hold, and drag it, and I'm going to release it into the timeline. Notice it says the editor sequence settings differs from the clip you're adding. So basically, if I shot this in 2.7K. So if I hit yes, it's actually going to change that stuff to the actual settings that it needs to. So that's a very good deal. So a lot of times you want to say yes on that. So notice that I could actually put this clip anywhere in this timeline. So if I put it here, one thing that I do want you to notice is that anything that I make, or any clip, or all this section right here, is now going to play back as black screen. So if I go over here and I hit the play button, which on a non-linear editing system, guys, the space bar will play the video back. And it'll allow me to play my video back. And all of this stuff right here would be black space. So make sure you start that first clip against the 0 mark right here. And again, if I hit play here, there's a play button right here. I can play that through. It's going to be really laggy right now because I'm editing video as well as recording video at the same time. But you can see here is the video. You can actually make these windows bigger by holding your mouse in between them, and you'll see the cursor change. So you can see here, right here where my mouse is at, this gray bar, this is known as the playhead, or the play. This line is what's playing on this clip. So when I hit play here, this thing will traverse to the right, and wherever this little playhead's at is what you're seeing on the actual video. So one thing that you do have to think about that is, like, let's just say that I go here. Actually, I need to be in the viewer here, not the trimmer, the viewer. And again, it's not doing really well because I'm actually editing video, attempting to edit video here and showing you that too. So if I hit play here in the viewer section, not the trimmer, when I hit play here, this thing will actually hit play twice. So you can see the playhead now moving, which is exactly right. So now if I hit the space bar again, it's going to stop playing. So now I can actually left click, hold, and drag this to a section, or I can just hit the space bar and let it play until I get to this point that I want to make a cut, and I hit the space bar. So now I have this line here. Right here is a toolbar, and again, I'm not going to get super into this. This is stuff that you guys are going to have to play with, but 2 tools that you're going to want to know about is the selection tool, which is this arrow here. Notice that there's a hotkey of V, and then this slice tool, notice that there's a hotkey of C. So I want to make a cut there. So I'm going to either hit this button right here or hit the C on the keyboard. And if you notice here, my cursor changes to a razor blade. Now if I left click on that line right there, it's going to make a cut. So now I still have the cut tool selected, but if you remember, the selection tool was V, so C and V are right next to each other. So I'm going to hit V on the keyboard as in violet. Now I have this actual thing. So the cool thing about nonlinear editing is that I have this clip, which used to be one single clip. I've split it or bifurcated it at that single point. I can now left click, hold, and drag and split this clip. So let's just say that I want to add this clip right here in between this. Notice, if I do that, it actually gets rid of my other video, which I don't want to do. So if you're going to do that, you need to make sure that this video is out far enough that you can actually bring in this clip and it have enough to go in there. So now I've added this secondary video clip. So now what will happen is if I hit play by hitting the space bar, it's going to play through here, albeit very, let's turn this down from full to quarter. This will be resolution. You'd probably want to do it on your computer unless you're running a super high-end computer. Turn this to a 1/4, which means it's going to play back in quarter the resolution. You can see that it's not as good as it used to be. But you can see that from one clip to the other, I'm hitting spacebar to play, there's a really defined cut there, which is known as a jump cut, which I really don't like. So this is where the effects tab comes into play. And again, this actually happens on all nonlinear editing systems. It's not just HitFilm Express. It's not just Premiere Pro. They all have effects built in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down and I'm going to, let's see, some of the stuff you can work with. I'm not a huge fan of it all, a lot of it. So I'm going to go down here to Transitions Video, and I'm going to find the Dissolve here. And in the Dissolve folder, there is something here called a Cross Dissolve. Cross Dissolve just takes one clip and basically fades it out and into another clip. I'm going to left click, hold, and drag this. I'm holding and dragging this, by the way, guys. And notice when I get in between these two clips, it gives me a new cursor. And when I release the left click button, it now will create this cross dissolve. And it basically makes a really nice transition in between those two clips. Let's see if I can get it to render here so you guys can see it. Notice that one side is faded out and the other one is fading in, which is exactly what I want. Now, so let's go through here and let's see. So here is the fish catch that we were trying to get a hold of here. So let's see, maybe I want to, let's say maybe I want to add some music to this thing. Well, adding music is just the exact same way you would import media. So guys, if you don't know this already, the YouTube library actually gives you free music that you can use that is royalty free, which means you don't have to pay anybody for it, which is really good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double left click in this area right here, and I'm going to go to my downloads folder, and I'm going to try to find, here we go, let's see, I'm going to use this video or this audio right here. Notice it comes in as audio. Now if I left click, hold, and drag this in here, it's not going to let me drag it in unless I have it put on the same clip, and I don't want that, or the same track. What I want to do is right click in here and choose insert track, and I want to create a secondary audio track. So now I can bring in this audio and it will actually play behind the video. You can hear it now. It's playing behind my video. So let's just say that I want to create a new edit right when that video, or right when that beat drops out. So right there probably. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit C on the keyboard to get the razor blade tool. I want to make a selection here. And then remember, if I hit V, I'm going to go back to the selection tool. If you remember the Marquee Selection, I can Marquee select all this stuff to the right hand side. I can left click, hold, and drag, and now it moves as a group, which is really cool. If not, what would happen if I grab this thing and move it over here? It's going to cut the other part of that video off of there. So this brings in another cool thing that you're going to want to know about, and that is the Control Z button, as in Control Z or 0. If I hold Control Z, it's going to undo the last thing that I just did. So maybe I didn't like that. You can also go to Edit and choose Undo or Redo. Again, Control Z for the redo or undo, Control Y for redo in this particular program. So let's just say that maybe I want to have a little clip here of me holding this monstrosity of a bass here up. So I'm going to hit C to get the clip. And then I'm going to go over here and maybe get another little clip here. So now I have this little clip that I've created here. I'm going to hit V on the keyboard to get the selection tool. Remember that. So now I can click, hold, and drag this thing over here. So now what will happen is if I play this back, notice there right at that beat drop, let's turn this to full. Probably going to be laggy, but yeah, too laggy. Let's figure this out. Maybe a half. Trying to do too much on my system here, guys. still very laggy. Which again, I'm doing a lot of stuff. I'm video editing and I'm recording a video at the same time. So I've created that clip. So let's just say that I'm working my way through and I've created this this clip. And again, I want you to understand that, like right here, if you see this, notice that if there's a gap in your clips here, it'll literally go from there to a black screen, which is sometimes what you want. A lot of times it's not. So make sure you have all of your clips together and you have transitions and stuff. So now let's just say that you want to send this video out to where you can render it or put it on YouTube or what have you. And that is done here in the export tab. So we're going to choose export to file. But what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're making a selection here. Notice that this duration here, this orange thing, we want to set this duration to the end of our video clip. We don't want this duration to be way out through here because it's going to render this entire video and everything past your last clip is going to be black. Another thing is, if I take this duration and I put it halfway into my clip, it's only going to render to this file right here, this clip right here, and the rest of it's not going to be there. So make sure you have this. This is known as an in point and an out point. So this is an out point. So I have that selected at the end of my clip. Now what I'm going to choose is I'm going to choose export to file. I want to make sure that that's true. I'm pretty sure that's it. That is it. One last thing before we render it out. There's something called a ripple delete. If I choose this and I right click and I go up and I choose remove, notice this is the delete key on the keyboard. If I choose remove here, it leaves this big giant gap of black space, which is probably not what I want. So I'm going to hit Control Z to undo that. Now I'm going to select this. If I right click on here, and there's not a whole, it doesn't give you the opportunity here to do anything else except for right here, ripple delete clip. And what ripple delete is, it deletes this file and moves everything to the right of that clip that much to the left. So let's just put another clip out here. Let's just drag this clip way out here and notice that there's a gap here. But if I were to right click on this file and choose ripple delete clip, notice that Alt Delete is the shortcut. If I select that, notice it moved every file to the right of that file to the left of it by that amount of file space. So we're going to undo all of that. So now I have that. Now I just wanted to show you that is the ripple delete button. And again, I'm not going to get too in-depth in this. If this is something you guys are interested in, I can show you guys some editing tips and techniques and things, but I just want to get you guys the basics so you actually can get this stuff out on YouTube and stuff. So I'm going to choose the export tab here, but I'm going to choose export and I'm going to choose to file. This is where it's going to ask me where I want to save it to. And I'm going to go to my backup drive, go into the YouTube video, and I'm going to call this maybe final edit, and I'll do underscore. It's okay to have spaces. I don't like to have spaces. So final edit Ohio River, and I'm going to choose save. Now notice it says here that we're sending this out to YouTube 1080p for the preset. Notice that I could change this here. But YouTube 1080p is fine. This 2160 UHD, that's 2.7K. So depending on what you want, I'm going to choose YouTube 1080p HD, and notice that it's already rendering this video out. So it's taking this video and it's actually making basically like cutting, it's basically like putting glue on all these parts of the video and exporting this into one single solid video clip. And again, this thing is only a couple minutes long, but this could be hours of footage that you have working on. One of the things that I do want you to know is that you need to go to File up here and choose Save Often. And I want you to notice that there is a Control S button here. Control S is Save. If you don't save often, you will, and I am going to tell you this out of personal experience, you will get to a point where you are absolutely flabbergasted because you've been working on a video for 2 hours and the system crashes. If you just constantly hit Control S every so often, at least if the system crashes, you're only left with the amount of work that you've done previous to that save. So get in the mindset of hitting Control S all the time on your keyboard, maybe once every 2 or 3 minutes. That way, again, if the system crashes, if this software crashes, you have a hardware corruption, anything like that, you have not lost all of your data. So again, I am actually talking to you guys while this is happening, just for the simple fact is I want you to know that this is real-time rendering. Notice here that this is not instantaneous. It does take a little bit of time to edit and render it out. I'm sorry, to render it out, not edit it. It takes more time to edit it than anything. But rendering it out is not instantaneous. It takes a little bit of time, and it's as fast as the computer you're working on. Guys, I'm editing this video on an Alienware laptop that has 32 gig of RAM, it has 5 terabytes of hard drive space, it has an 8-core, it is a Core i9 processor, one of the highest processors that Intel has out right now. And you can see that it's taking a little bit, and this is only for a 2-minute video. So keep in mind that this is not going to instantaneously happen. So again, once this is done, guys, you'll be able to find this file wherever you saved it at. And in my case, I saved that to that YouTube video folder. At that point, when you have that file set up that way, you could actually share this on Facebook, you can share it on YouTube, you can share it on TikTok if it's, you know, less than 3 minutes long, you can share it on Instagram Reels, you can share it with your buddies via, you know, like Dropbox and things like that. Maybe you don't want to share it with anybody and you just want to save it on an external hard drive. That's totally fine. You could do that. But again, this is now giving you an opportunity to edit your on-the-water footage and give you a way to basically archive your memories. And you guys have heard me talk about for a while, one of my very first trips that are actually out on YouTube is when Kyle and I went to Grayson and caught 20 pounds and 5 fish, which was absolutely the best day I've ever had at Grayson in my life. It still has yet to be surpassed. But I have that memory that I can rewatch every day if I wanted to on YouTube, and I don't have to worry about my computer crashing. It's always out on YouTube. They back that stuff up. And if you get over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, you can make a little bit of money depending on what kind of content you guys are producing. So what we're going to do is we're going to speed this up really quick until this gets done. And then at that point, I'm going to show you guys the file and show you guys how to play it. Once that's done, guys, that's going to wrap up video number 2, talking about how you can get your footage off of your action camera and edited so you can put it on YouTube or whatever you need to do. If this video has helped you out, guys, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. I have a goal of 4,000 subscribers by the end of this year, and only you guys out there can help me. So if you guys like this video, share it with your buddies, and if it's helped you out, I would appreciate it if you guys would share my stuff. It would help me out a lot. So now that this video is finished, I can click right here where it says output, and it actually will take me to the file or the folder that it's output to. If you guys remember, right click in the white area, just that was from the first video, choose view and choose extra large icons. So here's my final edit, Ohio River. If I double click this to play it, you can hear the music in the background. Let's wait for the beat drop, edit. Bingo. I wasn't even trying to make that one happen. It looks pretty cool. But again, this is about 2 minutes long. This video now can be shared wherever you'd like. Again, guys, if this video helped you out and you like this video, please share it with your buddies and consider hitting that subscribe button. It'll help me out, especially if you like fishing and outdoor related content. If you guys can, get out there and lean on them. We'll see you next time on Another Line.